Stephen Carroll. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Catherine.
We're going to start off here in France. Unions and employers, for once, agreeing on something. A deal on President Hollande's latest plan to create jobs.
Yes, 5 of France's major trade unions met with employers' groups in Paris on Wednesday. They were working to hammer out details of François Hollande's so-called Responsibility Pact. This is the president's plan to reduce payroll taxes in France by some 30 billion euros in exchange for a commitment from employers to create jobs. Now, 3 of the unions agreed a deal with business groups. We don't have very much details of what's in that agreement. It now has to go to a sector-by-sector negotiation between individual industries in France to try to see where they can create jobs. We do know that despite pressure from unions, employers refused to commit to figures of how many jobs they would create. But the agreement is an important step forward in François Hollande's plan to try to reduce unemployment in France, which is currently at a record high. The main business group MEDEF says it was hoping that 1 million jobs could be created through this pact, but didn't want legally binding targets. Let's listen to their reaction to this latest deal.
What's important in a responsibility pact is that the key players, and that is the spirit of this document, place an emphasis on trust and shared responsibility.
The European Commission also says it's eager to see details of that plan when they emerge. This, as the Commission announced, it's placing France and its spending habits under close surveillance. It says the country will fail to bring down its budget deficit to agreed levels by 2015. And they're saying that France's financial issues could weigh on the wider Eurozone economy.
Concerning France, decisive policy action is required in order to fight the country's imbalances. The growing trade deficit reflects the long-term fall in export market shares. Despite measures taken to foster competitiveness, so far there is limited evidence of rebalancing.
OK, well, we're going to stay with news here in France, but turning to the corporate sector now. Stephen, there's news of a bidding war for France's second biggest mobile phone operator.
Yeah, that's right. Vivendi, which owns SFR, says they've received 2 rival offers for the mobile network. We had been getting reports of this in recent weeks. The 2 bidders are the cable and broadband firm Numericable and the rival network Bouygues. Now, Numericable's offer is thought to be around 15 billion euros for SFR's business, but if Bouygues' offer were accepted, it would create the country's largest mobile operator in terms of subscribers. Around 32 million customers they would have, which would put France Telecom's Orange network into second place. That deal, though, would need European Commission approval, as there would be competitions issues in play there. But France, of course, is one of the most competitive mobile networks in Europe. So this is a really big deal in the mobile sector here.
OK, it doesn't seem very competitive when I look at my bill each month, but I'll take your word for it, Stephen. Take us through what's happening on the stock markets.
We're going to start with how things finished up on Wall Street and a much calmer day on the American markets after the volatility we've seen in recent days. Just the main markets closing largely flat, as you can see. The S&P 500 just dipping slightly into the red, and the Nasdaq registering very slight gains there as well. Over in Asia, the Nikkei continuing to rise in Tokyo. It's up over 1% in trading today. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong and the Kospi also in positive territory, but over in Shanghai, shares dipping into the red. This as investor jitters continue over a looming corporate bond default from solar equipment producer Chauri Solar. This would, if it comes to pass tomorrow, would be the first ever domestic bond default in China, and that's giving investors cause for concern.
Certainly. Well, let's look to Ukraine next. We've been talking a lot about political, diplomatic wranglings, not a great deal of movement there. But on the financial side, there has been some movement.
Yeah, the European Commission on Wednesday says that the EU was ready to provide Ukraine with 11 billion euros worth of financial aid. The package would include both loans and grants. Joe Tandy has been taking us through the figures of who would get what.
A day after the US proposed a billion-dollar aid package, European Commission President José Manuel Barroso took his turn to play the herald of good news for Ukraine's economy.
The package combined could bring an overall support of at least 11 billion euros over the next couple of years.
Of the 11 billion euros on the table, 3 billion will come from the EU Commission itself, 5 billion from the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, and 3 billion more from the European Investment Bank. Of the €3 billion coming directly from the EU Commission's purse, €1.6 billion takes the shape of loans, with the remaining €1.4 billion coming as grants. The EU plans to spread the money over the period up to 2020, meaning only a small part of the package is for immediate use. The Ukrainian government said it needs more than €25 billion over the next 2 years to avoid bankruptcy. Beyond direct support for the Ukrainian national budget, the EU money will help pay for infrastructure projects like reforming the gas transit system, plus judicial and political reform. European leaders meet in Brussels on Thursday to sign off on the deal. Even then, the EU will need the green light from the International Monetary Fund before handing over large parts of the cash.
Okay, finally now, a startup company is offering many New Yorkers what they can't afford: space to move around and think.
Exactly. It's being dubbed space, both personal and physical. It's being dubbed the zip car of personal space. Breather is a new company that's offering New Yorkers a room to rent for them to quietly reflect and escape the hustle and bustle of Manhattan. It's $25 an hour. They can book the rooms via a mobile app that you can see there, and they unlock the rooms using a digital code inside. There's a dining room table, a sofa, free Wi-Fi, space for people to unwind. The company says there's already been huge interest in the service.
You can work, you can meet, you can relax, you can do anything that is not illegal or immoral according to our terms of service. So we love people having meetings, we love people coming to take a nap, we love people coming to do their homework. All of that you can do. Use your imagination for what you can do within the limits of the law and within moral limits.
There we go. Innovative ideas there from New York. Thanks very much. Stephen Carroll with the business news. Moving on now. Facebook may be free to use, but did you